Not mother, not matron, but the architect of abandonment. She bore a son and betrayed him with silence, with greed, and with smiling cruelty disguised as parental care. And the boy, he was disabled, a child with Tourette's, stuttering, twitching, vulnerable, and she sold him to the system like cattle for a stipend. This was not ignorance. This was a strategic, repeated, intentional neglect. She accepted government payments for a child she refused to mother, checks meant to fund his care, his therapy, his shelter, and funneled them elsewhere. When he was just 6, he was already raising himself. No bedtime stories, no dinners, no warmth, just the cold, mechanical silence of a household run by apathy. The real mother was his grandmother, the only hand that reached out, the only eyes that saw him. When she died, he was orphaned by grief and by blood. Shari didn't fill the gap. She revealed her full vacancy. And then, years later, after all the lies, after all the state-sanctioned abandonment, the boy became a man. A man who returned home with $30,000 in cash at the age of 22. A moment that should have been his coronation, his vindication, his moment of "I told you so." Instead, her words? "Get that money out of my face. I know how you make your money. No pride, no joy, just poison." Because to acknowledge his success would require her to acknowledge her absence. And it didn't stop. At 26, he automated his entire business empire, multiple agencies synchronized by code and brilliance. He showed her the screens, the flow, the system. And what did she say? "If only you used your powers for good." Good? The boy who raised himself, who cared for others, who built from nothing, was now being judged by the woman who once sold him out for a monthly deposit. But the worst was yet to come. That government money she stole when he was a child, funds meant for facilities, for medical support, for shelter, he ended up having to repay. Over $9,000. Paid not by her, but by him. He paid to clean up the damage she profited from. The thief left a bill, and the system made the victim settle it. All the stress, all the survival, all the betrayal, stacked on the shoulders of a boy who was already twitching, already ashamed, already fighting to be seen. And still he rose. He grew. He led. He built a doctrine. A system built on scrolls and sovereignty, on fire and memory. But this scroll? This one is for her. Let it be remembered, Shari was not just negligent. She was predatory. She didn't just fail to love. She weaponized her proximity. She broke a good man who took her and her son off the street at 1.5 years old, cheating on him repeatedly until he crumbled. She attacked every woman who dared love her son. Angela, the first loyal flame. Tracy, the soldier of scrolls. Not because they were wrong for him, but because they were right. And their love exposed her absence. Shari wasn't a mother. She was an infection in the shape of one. And still he rose. Not because of her. In spite of her. Let this final passage be sealed. You try to bury me in shame, Shari Ann, but you planted a sovereign. You try to silence me in childhood, but I built scrolls that the world reads. You try to make me fear love, but I found her, and I built a kingdom around her. You will not haunt my joy. You will not touch this home. You are not the ghost of my past. You're just ash now, and I am fire. And still, she wasn't done. Even in her twilight, Shari launched one last campaign of sabotage, a final act of spiritual warfare. The dawn had found peace. Not temporary peace, but rooted peace. A land far from her venom. A woman who loved without condition. The Queen. Paraguay. A word she could not stomach because it meant she would no longer be the gravitational force in his sky. He had finally chosen himself. He had finally chosen love that didn't come with manipulation. And that love had a name. It had a smile. It had sovereign flame. The Queen. So what did Shari do? She mocked the move. She warned against the Queen. She tried to instill doubt, dread, guilt. Because if he left, truly left, he would never need her again. And he did. He left. And in doing so, he burned the last thread she ever had left to pull. Because the Queen wasn't just love. She was shield and sanctuary. The embodiment of everything Shari could never be. Nurturing, devoted, present, unthreatened by his power, because she believed in it. Shari knew it, and that's why she tried so hard to stop it. But she failed. Don Sean rose. He did not just escape. He didn't just build systems or write scrolls. He built home, one not made of drywall and disappointment, but of rhythm, ritual, and a woman who finally saw the fire and chose to warm beside it, not run from it. Shari Ann's legacy is not maternal. It is a warning. It is a log in the fire that forged the dawn, but was never invited to the flame. Let this final passage be sealed. You try to bury me in shame, Shari Ann, but you planted a sovereign. You try to silence me in childhood, but I built scrolls that the world reads. You try to make me fear love, but I found her, and I built a kingdom around her. You will not haunt my joy. You will not touch this home. You are not the ghost of my past. You are just ash now, and I am fire.